I think some of the things that we could possibly do pushes the envelope. And when you start pushing buttons that make people feel uncomfortable, and you start feeling uncomfortable, then people start to pull back.
Okay. Now, we know obviously the public school system exists to ensure that the public is educated.
Right.
And education is not simply a privilege in America. It's not a right. It's a legal mandate. All children must be educated because that makes for a stronger nation. And so public school systems accommodate that legal mandate.
Right.
But one of the issues we see in public education is the achievement gap between children of different backgrounds. Those who are better able to access information and resources have a leg up. And you talked about what access means in terms of what are you able to do with the information that you have. And obviously, yes, parents have a responsibility, but that's kind of the point of the public school system, is to make up for what parents lack or what parents don't do, so that we can fulfill that legal mandate to educate our children. And that's why buses run. That's why they're truant officers, to make sure children get what they need, go the extra mile to make sure that you fulfill that need for the sake of the public. So, based on your experience in the Person County school system, are we doing everything we can to ensure equity, and what can be done?
With my experience within Person County schools, I can only speak, first of all, I can only speak from my experience, my personal experience. I cannot speak for any other teacher's experience. I cannot speak for any other principal's experience. I cannot speak for any other superintendent's experience. But from my experience, I feel like we as a whole are not doing everything that we could be doing. Are we attempting? Yes. Are we taking strides? Yes. Are we making plans? Are we putting things down on paper? Yes. But are we truly doing everything that we can do? No. I think some of the things that we could possibly do pushes the envelope. And when you start pushing buttons that make people feel uncomfortable, and you start feeling uncomfortable, then people start to pull back, because then people start to worry. And the worry isn't so much about the students now. The worry is about your job, your well-being, your life. I've taken pay cuts. I have done things for education where I wasn't sure if I was going to have a job when I came back to work. But that was because I believed so much in what I did, until I was willing to take that chance for my students. I was willing to take that chance in the name of education. North Carolina is not a union state. So I take a risk every time I walk out my building. When I was in public education, I took a risk every time I walked out my building to go protest in Raleigh. Because at any time, the General Assembly could have said, "All y'all fired." I took a chance every time. I took a chance every time I went down to my principal's office and said, "This is not right. These kids are not learning. This is what they need." And I stand up for it, or go to my PTA, or sit down at the school improvement meeting. I don't know if that chance is being taken here, because like I said, I can't speak for everyone, but I can say there is a problem when the population of your school and the population of your teachers do not look the same. Study shows that when a child of color, my Black and brown babies, have a teacher who looks like them before 3rd grade, they have a better chance of just graduating high school. When they have more than one teacher that looks like them before high school, that chance goes up 20 to 30%. Now, I'm not a stats person, so if you go Google it, you can get the exact numbers, but I guarantee you, what I just told you, my numbers aren't going in the wrong direction. So if that's true, then why not work on the equity of education by making sure that we have those types of teachers in those types of schools? If you really want to work on your graduation rate, then why not start at the bottom? If you know that you have a percentage of Native American in your school, and you know if the percentage of kids who see another Native American teacher before 3rd grade boosts their chance of graduating, then why not find a Native American teacher? Why not do whatever you can to find that type of teacher to bring in? Why not find a volunteer? Why not find somebody to come in and read a book? Okay, so you tried. We tried to hire. They won't stay. Why won't they stay? These are questions that we need to ask. If you are truly about equity in education, you just don't stop because other people stop. You have to get down, like some people say, you got to get down to the nitty gritty. You got to get down to the problem. You got to get down to the center of what's really going on. That's the only way that you can find out why things don't work. You just can't say, well, we tried. They just don't come. They just don't do whatever. You just can't do that, because now you're playing with my baby's lives. And that's when the parents have to step in. So not only am I an educator, but I'm a parent. And play with my child if you want to, and my child's education. I have a joke that I share with all my educator parents. And I tell them, I own the school in a heartbeat. Play with my baby if you want to. But it's a joke. But my thing is, we have to be serious about our kids' education. I'm not saying go in and cut up. I'm saying go in and figure out what's really going on. If you have a child that's not getting what they need, figure out what they need and then lobby for that. It's public education. They work for you, and it's not always the teacher's fault. Sometimes that teacher can't help with the school supplies. So get behind that teacher and help support that teacher to get what that teacher needs from that school or from that district. Sometimes they're not going to move until the community moves. Trust me, why you think Wake and Durham and Charlotte get what they want? Because those parents are going to show up in droves to support those teachers when they want something. So it would be nice to see a whole bunch of parents in Person County go down to the board, but I'm not saying everybody go down there and do nothing crazy. I'm just saying it would be nice to see people walk down there and say, hey, we need books. When y'all gonna give us the books?
So a great deal of equity also depends on the community forcing the issue and responding with their own resource to make up for what may be lacking.
Absolutely. But we also have to educate our community. How are you going to fight for your baby if you don't know how the education system works? Public school is totally different from private school. You can push stuff in public school that you can't push in private school. There are laws being made right now that's affecting public school that no one knows about because we are not educated enough about the education system to know when something is passed that it's going to mess with this or mess with that.